Hello, hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. Jianu, Pukher Agale, Ni hao, June Shumme, Washmale, Ohio Gonzaimes, Guten Morgen, Ola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifahal, Hale Shama Chatore, Ahlan Wasalan Marhaba, Huya Morche, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PT World and are watching World this morning alongside Shiza Hashmi and Shazad Khan. Hello, Shiza. How are you today?
I am great. How are you?
I'm absolutely perfect. The weather's great. I so
It
wanted
is.
to look very angelic on the screen today, so I picked up on very light colors, which I don't know people can either tell or not because the pants are white and the shirt is pink, ladies and gentlemen. But it looks like to me as if
Well, you
it's
do
all
look
white.
angelic. Well, you
yeah,
do look
yeah.
angelic.
But how are you today?
I am
Because
great, and the Pakistani flags are back on our shirts. What does that mean for us? It's August, you guys, and Independence Day is like literally so close.
yeah, it is, and it makes me very happy as well because once again we'll have to put those mini flags on the house,
Yeah, the
decorations, and
decorations,
then
love it.
the fireworks on the night of the 13th of August. It's just amazing, and
The
it's
spirit is amazing.
the spirit is amazing, and to be honest, it's not even about the badges. The badge is right inside my chest. It's over here,
Yeah.
and it has got this crescent as well, and it's got this star too as well. So we are Pakistanis from our
Yes, of
heart too as
course.
well, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll be definitely doing a special transmission of
Of course,
14th of
yes.
August. That's a promise.
Yeah.
But other than that, let's focus on today. The weather outside is very amazing. I could hear a lot of clouds going brr grr and whatnot. But and then even today I was thinking that I should actually ride my bike, but then eventually I got lucky because I opted to go by the car. And then meanwhile, when I was in my way, it started to rain.
And
So
you're wearing white. Imagine you came on a bike. Oh, God.
yeah, it would have been very disturbing too as well. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a good start to the day. Let's take a look at what's happening all around the globe.
Let's take
Top
a look.
stories coming up. Good morning.
The Election Commission of Pakistan withdraws notifications of ban on transfers, postings and development schemes. All local bodies also resorted notifications about ban on postings. Transfer development schemes will apply to caretaker government.
Moving on, where Turk President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has telephoned PTI chairman Imran Khan and felicitated him on election win. Both leaders agreed to start a new era of bilateral ties. I don't know why, but I love Recep Tayyip Erdogan. I think
know,
he's a
right?
great leader.
And next we have a group of 6 girls becomes the first female team to scale 5,300 meters high, a peak in Shimsal Valley in Hunza. I don't know how to pronounce this, to be
Okay,
honest.
I'll tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Shifkateen Sir Peak in Shimshal Valley in Hunza. And,
Yes,
and what a
that's what
great
it
job
is.
done, ladies. We're definitely proud of you because look at what she's just doing over here. She's only on the couch, man. That's it. Talking,
Couch
talking.
potato, yes.
Yeah. No, but other than that, it's a great thing. Or, we always talk about it and we say that we need to go to these places. When do you think we'll be able to do that?
We'll only be able to do that if you take a week off and then I do the show on your behalf and then, we take turns actually.
Yeah, I think that this is the only solution. Or otherwise, we can record it too as well. But
Oh, yes.
other than that, let's come down to what we are discussing today.
Okay, so it's going to be very interesting because, first of all, we always talk about how youth is so talented, and youth of Pakistan especially is so talented,
Yeah.
how they're entering into different ventures. But today specifically, we're going to talk about how youth is entering into the fashion industry.
Wow, yeah, and
And I'm sure you know a lot about it because your brother is a model.
yes, he is. He is an amazing model as well, and currently he's in England too as well. But even other than that, the best part over here is, ladies and gentlemen, that when we talk about fashion, there's only one disagreement which I have, and that is that whenever I get to see fashion models, whether male or female, they have just given up on food. I think that they've given up on life because I'm a foodie myself.
I
And
totally can relate to
yeah,
this, yes.
and it's hard to control, those urges you get in the middle of the night for having a
True,
sweet cookie.
true.
Oh my God, they cannot do that because as far as I've seen my brother, man, the only thing that he eats is probably salads. That's it, and yoga. And they are so motivated, they're so dedicated, but then eventually there are a few problems too as well. For example, and this is something which we'll be asking
Yeah.
from this amazing guy who's over here in the studios. He's an anchor person over here on PT World 2 as well, and then he's branched out as a model. He's good looking, he's superb, and he's super talented too as well.
And so since you were talking about how models are not into eating, I can totally relate to that. I cannot think of even taking a day off, without eating. But that's the determination we're talking about.
Yeah.
I think this is their passion. They love being a part of the fashion industry. They love channeling new fashion and everything. And this is what we're going to talk about.
Yes.
We have with us on my right.
Yeah. Before we introduce our guest, there's this funny story which I wanted to share. That was when I started going to the gym. So it was after almost 2 years that I was hitting the gym, and then my trainer saw me and he was like, "What have you been doing?" And I was like, "I've been eating quite a lot of seafood."
Okay.
And he was like, "What in seafood?" I was like, "Whatever I see, I eat." so this is what it is, and now I'm repenting because it's too hard to get all of those extra pounds off, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know.
No, but I'm pretty sure it was worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it. It was worth it.
So yes, and this is what we're talking about, fashion industry. And this guy that we have on our show, he's of course he's venturing into modeling, but he's also venturing into acting. And
Wow.
one of his dramas is actually underway
Wow.
on a channel that we're not going to name because it's not ours. But yes, it's underway. Anyway,
yeah.
time to introduce him.
Yes, let's do it. Go ahead.
This is Bilal Sayed with us, you guys. Thank you so much for being on our show. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm great.
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for making it to the show as well. And it's been long that I haven't actually seen you because usually, he's getting off to the bulletin and then, we're coming into the studios and this is what we were talking about.
Although I hate
But
waking up
talking-
in the mornings, but this was a
but,
must.
but talking about fashion industry, how did you get into it? Because this is something which people want to know. There are a lot of people who take aspirations from other people as well, but they certainly do not know how to be there.
Yeah.
So you see, when I first came to Pakistan, it was roughly about 9 months ago.
Okay.
So I knew nobody in the city. I barely knew anybody in, let's say, even Karachi.
Alright.
So I would often go to Lahore just because I had family, I had a few friends. Now that I had come to Islamabad, because I did my undergrad from Australia, from Monash, and I majored in journalism and I minored in theatre.
Okay.
All right.
So that was a very odd mix. As much as I loved theatre, I felt that this was something that I could easily start off with and venture on into acting at a
Alright.
later stage.
But were you also modeling or acting in
I
Australia?
was modeling in Australia a little bit. I was mostly acting though,
Okay,
over
okay.
there because theatre was something that I was into
In
more.
Australia?
In Australia.
Okay.
Wow.
So when I came here, I found a job in a film in the kind of related field. So I was a program manager for Women International Film Festival.
Okay.
Then I jumped obviously to media consultancy, all of that, and then I came here. So what I felt was meeting people, being in the right place at the right time with the right people means everything.
Right.
So the more people you meet, the more people you know, the more experiences you can share, the more opportunities that pop up.
So can we also say you've been lucky because it's only been like 9 months or something you've been
feel
here?
you can say that, but then I guess it's just the amount of people that I've come across.
Yeah.
That's how I landed so many opportunities. Like for example, being a brand ambassador for Tony and Guy. So this kind of stuff just happens because I was into blogging, I would write, and so they would notice these things. So you'd be surprised that there's so much opportunity. There's so many things you can do, and not just Pakistan, but in Islamabad specifically.
Wow.
It's just people don't have the hunger for it.
No, but is it the only way how you can make it to the fashion industry, or there are other ways to?
There are many ways. There are some conventional ways and some non-conventional ways. It's just, I guess, what route you take, whether it's the really hard-working route or the easy way out. It really depends, because if you take the route in which you know that this is something you can maintain, I'm sure that it's going to last a very long time.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds great. But Bilal, I do know what you're on to. But for our viewers, can you just tell us about the projects that you're on to right
So
now?
there's a couple of projects that are done. So I recently did my portfolio with one of the photographers, Bilal Khan. And so what happened was that after that, I would just go around talking to designers. I would go around talking to different people, even models,
Okay.
and trying to find these things. So the current project that I'm going to do is a bridal shoot. So it's going to be in Lahore on the 13th with a couple of, I'm not going to name the designers
of course,
yet
of course.
because I don't know if they want me to. Then there's another shoot next week on the 5th, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a very editorial. So I work in a very challenging kind of boundary. I feel if you can completely transform me, make me look like someone
Yeah.
that I don't really look like,
Yeah.
and I'm unrecognizable, then that's I think I've achieved my goal.
So that's what you want to do. That you never want to be recognized as who you actually are.
No, I do.
In your shoots, or
No,
you
no,
want
no,
to
no.
be
I
recognized.
do want to be recognized completely, 100%, because obviously recognition means everything.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the kind of work that I would like to do, I feel editorials make you really stand out. They've got a story, they've got a meaning, So it's a whole process. So it's not just, okay, these are the clothes, let's go shoot you. That's not it.
Okay,
It's-
so you have to be very wise with what we ask and then how
Yeah.
you answer, because you know you are relatively new into the industry
Yeah.
as well. And for example, if I ask you about certain or several designers,
Yep.
you really have to be intelligent and you have to play that way as well.
getting
Because other than having a
It
good
is.
body, I believe in having the brains too as well.
Yes.
Yes,
So now when we talk
absolutely.
about the fashion industry, it's not a rumor. I've seen it myself. I think that there's a split in between designers. I think that everybody wants to be very superior. Everybody wants to be full of brands as well.
Yeah.
And then everybody wants a special team of models who are just looking after the designer too as well. You know, all the coochie-coo and stuff, it does go down.
Yeah.
So how do you manage it all? Because you got to do
You
it,
see,
right?
it's a task.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. it's something you have to deal with on a daily basis. Because obviously people like being told, okay, you know, I'm awesome. Like, just
Right,
man,
of
like, look at me. But it happens. I'm not saying all of them do it.
Yeah.
But there are a few that have feuds in between. Ki, acha, if you've worked with this person, you can't work with that
Yeah.
person.
Okay.
You know, there's boundaries, there's limitations. There's certain things you can do and say, some things you just cannot, because they're going to be like, you know what, I can replace you.
Yeah.
So you've got to be very careful. There's a very fine line with how you deal with people.
So then
And
isn't
it's in
it
general, I
stressful
think.
that, you know, all this time you have to be so careful that, you know,
Yeah.
God forbid, you know, if I'm going to miss this shoot, you know,
Yeah.
it is going to have an impact on whatever you've done so far in the career ahead
Yeah.
too as well. So how do you
It's-
manage that?
It's stressful knowing that you have to be someone that sometimes that you're just not.
Yeah.
But I guess it's fun because as an actor, I feel I'm living that dream every day. So I'm
living
in a
different
whole
lives.
new shoe every day. So I feel like I can portray a new character.
Okay.
Right? So for me, that was advantageous. But for others, it's
So these are
just-
some of the pictures from
yeah.
your portfolio
Yeah.
shoot.
Oh, okay.
And you know, if we
How'd you
can
land
actually,
these?
if we can manage to bring them on the television screen without this window, I think they'll look more cooler. So I'm going to request my producer to shut the
Yeah.
window down and make it
looking at me
make
is
it look
just-
on the
Yeah.
entire television screen.
Yeah.
If we can do that, I think that'll be great. And then you can tell us about our shoots too, your shoots too as well. Go ahead. Tell us about these shoots.
Yeah.
So this one was actually in a friend's house. This one, okay, this was a portfolio. This was a proper full-on.
Fancy types.
This was, yeah. So I wanted it to be just like a casual, not casual, but this was to be very honest after my news bulletin.
Okay.
So
But you're always like dolled up for your bulletin.
I,
Dolled Bobbed up is-
use the term.
to be very honest, being another thing about being a model, especially with these photographs that you saw, is how you market it, how you
Yeah.
put it on social media,
Okay.
and how you make people understand that, okay, man, I'm something.
Or
yeah.
this is the kind of work I want to do.
This is the kind of work I want to do. This is what I look like. Although there's a lot of time, there's a lot of occasions where I've been told that your photos don't do justice, and I'm like,
Okay.
wait, what? But I still feel that I don't know. I have self-esteem issues
Oh,
as
which
a model
actually
as well.
makes me ask you, how do you deal with criticism?
Criticism. See, when you're a journalist, right? You guys would know that as well. That you get a lot of flashback. You get a lot of backlash. You get a lot of, you know, this is what's wrong.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
didn't do this. You didn't pronounce this right. You know, all that. But having said that, I guess in the modeling industry, critiquing is just a bit too off. Like, it's just out of boundary
Okay.
because people don't really understand that you're human. They start seeing you as a public property, which I understand. I
Yeah,
mean, you're in the
obviously.
public figure, you're in the public sphere. So they definitely have that right. But at the same time, they kind of need to understand that, come on, man, you're like, you know, you're as human as we are.
No, but I get that. So, you know, I'm not a lot into the fashion industry, and I don't have any relatives or
Yeah.
whatever into it. But I actually forgot my question.
Okay, that's perfectly
Happens
fine.
all the time.
But you know,
Yes.
there are two things which I wanted to ask. You know,
Yeah.
since you just mentioned that, you know, okay, we're journalists, we do this show. I want to call myself a host for infotainment shows as well.
Okay.
But other than that, you know, what happens is that, you know, the same kind of criticism comes from people who actually want to do the same job you are doing. So
Exactly.
I pretty much do not accept that
It's a
criticism.
very cutthroat
Yeah,
industry.
Yeah, if it's going to come from somebody who's actually a viewer or a listener, I think I'll probably pay heed to that too as well.
I agree.
But for you,
Constructive criticism,
yeah,
basically.
but for you, you know, it's different. For you, for example, how many different poses can you do in a single shoot? You know, this is
Especially
when it
for a
gets
male
difficult.
model, it's very restricted in that perspective. I mean, yeah, it depends on how you restrict it,
Yeah.
but still, in comparison to females, they can just do all sorts of stuff and just get away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, with a male model, you've got to be like a certain way. There's a certain image of society. There's a certain.
So, are you saying there are not a lot of options for you guys to excel?
I wouldn't say. Okay, so comparatively to female, maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
not.
Okay, but this is not what I'm asking. What I'm trying to ask over here is that do you, before your shoot, would you ever log on to Google and go click on images,
The amount of
just
times
to,
I've
just to
done
check
that.
different poses? Okay, this, that, whatever,
The amount of times I've done that, it's surprising.
Well, I'm pretty sure you do that.
No, but then again, there's a coordinator on every shoot, so they tell you, okay, this is what you need to do, this is what, how you should present yourself. So it's like, okay.
No, but with that, the problem over here is that, the model, him or herself, knows that whether my left side looks better or my right side profile looks better or my master looks better. So what would you tell us about yourself?
To be very honest, I don't know if I should say this on TV, but I feel like it's just, I guess it's up to the photographer. It's
Okay.
up to the people that are involved in the shoot.
So are you confident with yourself though?
I'm very confident. I'm to the point where I'm like, you know what? Dress me however you want. Tell me what you want me to do.
Okay.
I'll be there.
But then, are you comfortable with whatever images they have
I
taken?
feel your brother's very good with this. Whenever I've met your brother, he's a good friend. Whenever I meet him, he knows exactly which side is better than the other.
Wow.
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is amazing.
he's always like that. He's right.
I'm still kind of trying to figure that out because I really don't know.
But will you ever have the guts to go up to the photographer and say, look, these pictures you took, I
Oh,
don't look good in them?
the amount of bluntness the amount of blunt character I've become ever since I've come to Pakistan is so intense. It's not even funny. Like you just go up to someone, you'd be like, man, I don't like that, and they'd be like, wait, what?
And how do they respond?
Like, I'm a photographer, man. I know this.
Yeah.
But the response depends on how you tell them.
Okay.
If you're going to be upfront and be like, dude, I don't like this at all, they're going to be like, that's my
cares?
choice. But if you're like, dude, I think this could have been this way, then they're more likely to listen to you.
Okay, but I don't know how to put this, but since you've said it, that you were almost close to becoming a public figure, for me you are already. You're entering into things.
My
but-
Instagram says.
Yes. But
yeah.
what about the invasion of privacy?
See, when it comes to invasion of privacy, I feel everyone obviously has the right to privacy, no
Yeah, of
doubt.
course.
But when you're in the public figure, it's my personal opinion. I'm sure people differ from this, but when you're in the public's eye, people are going to look at you. The reason why you're in the public sphere is so that people can critique you, so that people can look at you, so that
You
they
aren't
have
just
the
sort
right.
of giving them the right to speak about you.
I mean, you kind of know that getting into the field that people are going to talk about you, especially designers talk amongst each
Because
other.
the clothes you're going to
People
wear,
do.
that's how people are going to pick up on those clothes too
Exactly.
as well.
Yeah,
exactly. People are going to talk about, be like, yeah, this
Just because
person's,
Bilal was wearing it and was looking so cool, we're going to look so cool too as well. And then they can definitely...
You know, that this actually works on me. Of course, I mean, it works on girls usually. I'm sure. All girls, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I
yeah, just
watch
put
someone on
yourself in
Billboard
there.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get that to look so beautiful. And I get it. And it doesn't suit me. And, sometimes I literally have to pass it on to my sisters. You know, this is for you. It's a gift.
That happens
But-
all the time.
Yeah.
People think that if it looks good on you, it's going to look good on them. But
Exactly.
in fact, it really depends, man. Sometimes colors suit you. Like, for example, white really suits this guy. It does.
Yeah,
if
it
I
does,
wear
but
white,
look at the camera, man. Look at the camera. It's like I'm a neon tube light.
No, but they show you this
but
looks
it's good.
in real.
You're bright, man. You're popping out.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, but now let's come down to the crux of it.
Yes.
And the crux is that, for example, we know that you're a host, you're an anchor
Yeah.
person as well in the first place. And we all know that, it runs the kitchen. There's no problem in it.
Absolutely.
Let's come down to modeling. For example, if you were only a model,
Yep.
do you think that it'll help you run the kitchen and the family and bear all the expenses?
Not in the start. For the first couple of years, definitely not, because obviously it takes a long time to get in, long time to meet people.
Yeah.
Because you know how it is in society in general, in any industry, it's not easy for everyone to like you.
You've even got long time to get married. Don't worry about that.
See, I've already told my
Do not
mother,
do that.
I've already told my mom that I'm only going to get married when I can buy a house on my own money,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
my money,
Makes
right?
sense.
So I have a very long way to go in that perspective. But I feel with modeling, it's not a job that you want to start off with. It's not like anchoring, for example, right? I'm going to come read my bulletin, I'm going to get my money at the end of the month. But when it comes to
But are you?
modeling, I think so. The last time I checked, but so it's not something that's gonna pay your bills.
And one last thing before we wrap up the segment, and that is that a lot of people say that, and I'll reserve what I have to say. I won't say it because I want this guy to answer it because he's a part of the industry. A lot of times you've seen that people go down ethically, morally within this fashion industry. Do you think it is
Or
true?
that is the rumor as well. I mean, that's
Oh
what
yeah,
I've heard.
yeah. This is why I'm asking: Is it true?
Do you mean mentally?
Mentally, physically,
Yeah,
emotionally.
it happens a lot because, as you said, your brother only eats salads.
Yeah.
Now, see, just like yourself, I'm quite a big foodie as well, like
Okay.
yourself as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
I just can't. You know what I mean? So I've got to limit and restrict what I eat. I'm just not going to change what I eat.
Yeah.
But so
It's great
are,
about you, but you know, for all those people who actually like you, you know, and they want to be part of the industry and they're striving for
There's a
that,
particular
what will
diet.
be your say to them?
Yeah.
Okay, you want me to look at that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I feel
Talk to
like
them.
so I feel like if there's something that you really want to do, if this is something that you really feel passionate about, do it. Just make sure that you've got something on the side. Make sure that at least in the start, until you really hit it off, when you're really into the market, you've got a value, then by all means make it your permanent thing. Keeping in mind your mental health and your physical health, because your physical health really matters in terms of obviously the way you appear on camera, but your mental health is even more important, because how you feel inside about yourself, how you feel about others around you, it means everything, because you don't want to end up harming yourself and harming everyone around you.
Amazing.
Okay, that's great.
yeah.
But just quickly, when,
Just like
when are
end
we
it now.
when are we expecting your acting debut?
Couple of months, let's just give it some time to like
Okay.
complete package wrapped up
Okay.
and out there, and then I guess it'll just be
Right.
like a surprise.
That's great.
Bang. No, but it was lovely talking to
It
you.
was absolutely lovely being
All
here.
the best
Thank
for
you
your
so
future
much.
endeavors. Keep on doing it. Keep on working hard. And wherever you see yourself, you'll be way beyond that.
Yes,
Fingers
Inshallah.
crossed.
But for all those people who are out there, you know, we actually tried giving you that, you know, what happens within the industry, how do you have to do things. And I think Bilal over here is an intelligent guy with an amazing body too as well, and he deserves to be within the fashion industry. But other than that, you know, the question which I asked him, where it was about ethics and morals too as well, it wasn't really mentally. He kind of diverted himself not to answer. It was his choice, but it's great. But ladies and gentlemen, in this, I think, horizon, what I need to explain over here is that you have your own personality, you have a character to yourself. Please make sure that you do not change it because of the fact that you want it to be somewhere, and if you're going to change it, I don't think that you will actually be there. So please make sure that you do not go below the belt.
Yeah, be whoever you want to be, but be yourself. Be whatever you want to be. I mean, you can choose whatever path you want to choose, but do not forget or do not lose your personality.
Exactly.
Anyway, this was about it for this segment, and in the next segment is going to be something so interesting.
Yeah.
We're not even sure what it really is. We're going to ask the guest, of course.
And I think that, you know, that the next segment is actually interlinked with this one as well, because, you know, it is about being mentally strong.
Yes,
and how
controlling
mentally
your
strong
mind.
can you be? Yeah, let's do that. Good morning.
Stay
Let's take a
tuned.
break.
Welcome back to World This Morning. Hope you are enjoying. We are, because we know for a fact that the weather is beautiful outside. We don't know for in the studio.
Yeah.
But we're back with a new segment. And as we said, this is going to be interesting. Why? Because we're talking about mind sciences.
Yeah.
Now, what do you get? When I say mind sciences, what comes to you?
Yeah, because yesterday when I was going through and I was preparing for the show, and I read mind sciences, I was like, is it somebody from a sci-fi film where we talk about telekinesis, for example, in X-Men even, where you can just be in somebody's head and convey whatever your message is. And I was very confused. I was like, okay, what I need to do is I should actually prepare for this one because we should be asking the guests
of course.
what it is and what it is not. So without wasting a single second, ladies and gentlemen, we've been joined by Dr. Maimoona Javed. She's an MBBS doctor as well, but other than that, she's got interest in psychotherapy as well and mind sciences, and there are a lot of different things. So let's just ask her what it is. Hello, assalamu alaikum, how are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah.
What is mind sciences? This is one of those words which I've only heard in films.
Yeah.
Yeah, being medicine is my profession and
Yeah.
being mind sciences is my hobby and passion.
Okay.
Mind sciences is basically a study of mind. If we talk about our hemispheres, the brain hemispheres,
Left and right.
left and right
Yeah.
hemispheres, we can see the brain, but we can't see the mind. Mind enables the person basically to empower the world.
So, no, wait.
Yeah.
So brain and mind are two different things.
Yeah. In mind, I will talk about my conscious mind, my subconscious mind,
Okay.
and the unconscious mind.
Okay.
If I divide, if I talk about the brain, I can see the brain. I will divide into different parts, right? But in mind sciences,
it's
I will divide.
intangible.
Yeah. In mind, I will divide the subject into three parts: the conscious mind, in which we are living, the subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. And in mind sciences, basically, the target of our therapy is the subconscious mind.
Right.
Because the conscious, subconscious,
and the unconscious mind. For example, if I have to reframe a positive suggestion, if I have to erase a negative suggestion from my own mind or from others' mind, I will target the subconscious mind of that person.
So is it something
Yeah.
like Inception? Have you seen that film?
I was about
Have
to.
you?
I haven't seen that. I have heard about that, but I have learned a lot from my trainings.
Is it legal? Is it legal though?
Yeah, it is.
In terms of religion as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's therapeutic.
So what do you do then?
It's therapeutic. For example, yesterday I received a testimony about a lady whom I gave a therapy about postpartum depression.
Okay.
So she just gave me a call that, Dr. Maimoona, you gave me one session and my postpartum depression is over.
Wow.
So which
I just targeted that subconscious mind through one of the technique that's EFT, emotional freedom technique.
No, but that brings me to my question.
Yeah.
So are you mind reading? Is it psychology? Is it, I don't know, is it magic? What is
Is it
try to
something like
explain-
tarot card
No,
reading?
it's not magic. It's a holistic medicine. Psychiatry. In psychiatry, the psychiatrists give medicine.
Yeah.
In psychology, the psychologist counsels the patient.
Yeah.
Right. In mind sciences, we deal with the therapies. It takes a little time. ठीक है?
Oh.
I'm not going against my medicine profession and my there are a lot of specialities, like in medicine there are a lot of special, like ENT doctor deals with ENT, eye, ENT, ear, throat. In psychology, in psychiatry, in eye, and we refer patients to
This
each
is
other.
something we
right.
get.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is how you. This is the question for you, and I think
Yeah.
it's perfect. And that is, what kind of people can get help from a mind scientist?
Yeah, the people who are in stress, who have phobias, who have fears, who are in depression, who have psychological problems, anxiety,
Can
depression, physical issues
Can
like
you be useful for hypertension too?
definitely,
as well? Okay.
definitely hypertension, diabetes, asthma.
Diabetes.
Yeah, you name the
it's a-
disease and
How
it will
though?
help
You know
out.
what I cannot believe is that it's an MBBS doctor sitting right in front of me and telling me that mind science can actually help you with
Diabetes?
or
Yeah.
hypertension.
Yeah, definitely.
How? Let us
Definitely.
know.
Because all diseases are psychosomatic, How
Okay.
it starts. The diabetes starts after stress.
Yeah.
The hypertension starts after stress.
Yes.
The cardiac disease starts after stress.
Yeah.
So once I will deal with the stress of the patient, I will help him or her to overcome the diabetes and the hypertension, all other diseases.
And can you even help us in removing bad memories?
Definitely.
Oh,
All
yeah.
the
This is what I-
traumas, all the past traumas. For example, if the girl went through a divorce, or if she is a widow, or had people suffering with bomb blast or anything else, they can come over. They can deal with all these issues.
So
with
basically, the
mind system.
memories will be removed from their mind. Those bad memories.
It's the emotions are detached. You know, it's possible to detach a person from the emotions linked with that trauma.
Oh, have you watched
Yeah.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
No, I haven't.
It's so much about you have it. Okay, we'll talk about it later. But which brings me to my next question.
Yeah. For example,
Yeah,
sure.
no, please go ahead.
For example, if I target your subconscious mind,
Yeah.
If you are, I'm an addict of tea, and for example, if you are you're an addict of coffee or chocolate or anything you like, and you want to lose weight, if I simply say we are all sitting in a conscious mind, conscious state.
Yes.
If I simply say you, please leave that coffee, you will never listen to me.
Yeah.
With your will and with your permission, and you say to me that I want to leave coffee, I want to leave
Help me.
that chocolate, I will put you in the trance state. I will address to your subconscious mind. I will put positive suggestions in your subconscious mind. You will definitely going to leave that coffee or chocolate or any bad habit.
I think I found another branch of mind sciences, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Ammiya Boogie Chitrol. Once they tell you, oh, you're addicted to tea, let me do it. Chappals up and all that. And then you might even give up on tea.
Parents must learn mind sciences, because
Imagine
they
that's
must
like
know
playing
how
with
to
somebody's
handle.
brain without their consent.
No, that's what I'm about to ask.
No. With consent, we do everything with the
because
consent.
you were saying that the parents actually need to learn brain science or the mind sciences.
because if a child is not having the vegetables, if a child is not taking the milk,
But
and the
without
right
that
food,
innocent soul's consent, come on.
the child, if he or she is 7 to 8 year olds, like he's a kind of bit conscious about whatever he or she is doing.
Yeah.
Not
So
that
you can even
little
place
child.
ideas.
Yeah.
For example, you just said, okay, don't do this. I think that can actually be helpful
There-
for drug addicts too as well.
Definitely.
Does it help? Does it work? For example, if I
It
give you a
works.
number ratio from 1 to 10,
Yeah.
10 being most successful,
Yeah.
1 being the lowest, where would you rank mind sciences in between that this is how affected it is on anybody who comes
It
in?
is affected like nearly 98 to 99%. Yeah.
really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we do some, can we show our people out there, a simple example of what
Yeah.
it is?
Can you read? I mean, it's scary. I know.
I mean,
it's
do
scary.
it on Shiza, don't do it on me. I'm a complicated human being.
Then it will be in another program for all those kind of therapies.
Okay, no, since you're
Because
saying that.
this program is based on basically, I have to tell a little,
The introduction.
introduction.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. So when you're saying
for the
that
therapies and for the, there must be another
I
program.
mean, your
like
kids
this.
are always be very careful about you being around, man.
you know that.
No,
that is
you can
actually
learn
what-
also. You can learn each and everything. It's not scary. It's very interesting.
I
and
mean,
amazing.
even when I'm in front of a psychiatrist or a psychotherapist or a psychologist and now a mind scientist, these are the 4 or 5 people I'm really scared of.
Oh,
Yeah, because
same. Oh my
because the very
God.
moment that they said, the first thing they're going to notice is your body language, then where
Yeah.
you look, when you talk, you close.
Yeah.
I mean,
And can
and this is why I've been reading all of that stuff too. so
Now
that
I
can give
feel
them
you
a
guys
heart
are a
attack.
bit scary. You guys are feeling more anxious.
Then you are, of course, we are. But you know what happened? The
You
other
don't
day?
need to.
On this show, there was a psychologist, okay?
Yeah.
Psychiatrist, psychologist. I'm not really sure. This is
Psychiatrist is the medical term, and then psychologist is the one.
Okay, I think she was a psychologist. So we were talking on the show. There was no conversation before that or after that. I didn't know her at all. And after the show, she texts me things about me, which were true. And dude, I was scared. How do you find that out by just looking at them? But forget about that. When you say that parents should learn mind sciences.
Parents should learn, teachers should learn, students
Yeah,
should
but
learn.
but that also gives the right to people to misuse them, right?
No, then if they are we can misuse anything. We can misuse the medicines.
Yeah, of course.
If a person is taking, a full pack of Panadol, it's a misuse of a medicine.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Every knowledge we learn, we can misuse it if we want to. But why we should, misuse the knowledge?
No, I don't think that all the.
It's unethical.
No, but I
Yeah.
don't think that all the theorems I learned I can misuse them, or probably
Yeah.
all the
Don't
figures
even
I've learned,
remember.
all the letters I've
Yeah.
learned. I don't think that we can misuse them. But with this specific area, I think that there can be people. If,
Manipulation,
Yeah, if it gets into wrong hands,
Yes.
I think things won't be very nice.
We should right now focus on the positive things, the positive aspects of
Yeah,
these
we
things.
want to do that, but we
so
want to
that
tell
so
people.
that we
Highlight
can
these things as well.
we can help the people of Pakistan. We can help students. We can help
Okay, so how did you learn
I am
it?
giving the example
How
of that
did you
lady.
learn it? How did you got to know about it?
I just entered into the training of the 4-dimension workshop. My teacher, Dr. Moiz Hussain, he was conducting in like 2012. I started the journey of the mind sciences,
Okay.
and I found it very interesting because I used to learn the healings. I used to learn about the auras and the chakras, our magnetic fields. So I found it so interesting. So that became my passion and hobby.
And then what kind of impact does it have on you? You know, does it have an
Right
impact on
after
you too?
the first, yeah, I was basically.
Or some other mind science expert?
No. I went into the workshop for myself.
Yeah.
I wanted to discover who I was, who am I,
Okay.
because it's a realization
Wow.
program that who we are and why we are here in this world and what we are going to do.
So who are you?
Who are you?
Other
Did you
than
figure
Dr.
out?
Maimoona
For that,
Javed.
you have to attend 4th dimension.
Oh, come on.
There must be some surprises
Okay,
for
so
you.
can
too.
people learn? Can people learn? mind science?
Everybody can learn.
Okay,
and for all ages.
So when we talk about science, you know,
It's,
and
there are
you can
lot-
relate to this question too as well. When we talk about science, I think skill comes in handy. So
Definitely.
with mind sciences, what kind
Definitely.
of skill comes in handy?
In terms of skills, I have learned like NLP, neuro-linguistic programming,
Yes, yes,
in
yes.
which we learn that how we can communicate to the other in an effective way, so that he or she can listen more quickly.
Or even younger kids who cannot speak properly. it
It's
works
all
for them.
based on the stimulus and the response theory, and how we respond to the other stimulus, how we can give stimulus to a better stimulus, so that other person can listen to us. And there's another program, hypnosis, in which I've learned the hypnotherapies. I can use the self-hypnosis for myself.
So you can hypnotize us as well?
I can hypnotize
is
in
it-
a good manner. In a good
is
manner.
it like that, you know, the way we see it in films, you know, you have to see like that and then click and, you know,
Do you like
the next
literally
thing.
control the mind of the next person?
With his or her consent.
Yeah,
for example, like in NLP, it takes a few minutes to apply the therapy.
Okay.
In hypnosis, it takes about like half an hour to 40 minutes, because first we have to take the history, and with the permission, the consent. Again, I would say that if somebody wants to leave, if wants to get detached from a kind of trauma, hypnosis will help a lot.
Okay.
Okay, then share
Hypnosis,
with
yeah.
us a few success stories, you know, the type of people who come to you. Don't take their names, but
Yeah.
tell us, you know, different types of people, or people from different walks of life whom you've
Yeah.
actually helped with different certain problems or diseases.
Yeah, I just told you that yesterday. I gave a little therapy, one session to a lady who was suffering with a postpartum depression.
Yeah.
She was literally crying and crying that, Baji, please help me out. I have heard a lot about you and about the mind science and things you have learned. I just gave one therapy. I just took one session, and then she just came to me, and she was so thankful that I'm feeling so much better.
Yeah.
And I also deal with the diabetic patients. Like my mother is diabetic.
Okay.
You know, I keep giving the healings and the session and energies I have learned. I just
But do they still have to take their medication, or they can stop?
if somebody is taking the medicines, we will never say to that patient that please stop that medicines.
Okay.
No, it's not going to be like that. The medicines should be tapered off with the help, with the permission of the doctor whom you are consulting. For example, if somebody is taking antidepressant, and if somebody is taking the medicines for the insomnia, for the sleep problems, and for anxiety problems, we start giving the therapies, and slowly and gradually we taper off. Like I can taper off because I'm a medical doctor. Nobody else can taper off. You know. So if a therapist is giving a therapy, then he or she should consult with his doctor, so that the medicines can slowly be tapered off. Yeah.
Well, okay, before we wrap up, I have to
Yeah.
ask you, since this is very important, and since this is like a totally different and new
So
dimension.
there's
that
a
we've
lot to talk
learned.
about
Of course,
this
of course.
field.
So why do you think this should be a part of our formal education system as well?
Definitely. It should be a part of syllabus in all medical colleges. I must say.
Well,
there are
I
a lot
think
of
we need to
programs.
do a little more research on that before saying that.
Most welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome. You must.
Yeah,
Because it should
exactly.
be
But other than that, one last thing, because I've seen, I have a lot of friends who do all of these different kind of therapies where chakras come in and whatnot.
Yeah.
But eventually I came down to a point where I figured it out that it's a very much amazingly money-making business.
Oh,
how
is
much? How much does one session cost, for example?
roughly speaking?
I cost mostly like 1,000 rupees, like 700 to 800. It depends on person to person.
Okay.
Like somebody, I don't know about the others, but I don't cost so much.
Okay.
And you know, it varies with the procedures and with the techniques. Like if I go to a gynecologist, if anybody goes to a gynecologist and he or she is taking the money for the procedure, nobody will bother. He or she will pay to that. And if somebody is going to the mind scientist and he or she asks for money, then everybody will say, why he's taking the money?
Because it's all
Because
theoretical.
everything takes time.
No, but it's all
Hypnosis
theoretical, you know.
sessions take
It's all
time. It
theoretical.
depends on the
We
person.
haven't proved that, you know, whether it works or not. 'Cause
It
we
works. It works.
Okay, that's cool. But, you know, we still need to be in the research phase because we're still talking about a newer field. This was the very first time that I've heard about something on television. So I am at least not going to advise anybody what to do or not.
Do
because
your
of
own
the fact,
research.
do your own homework, do your own
Yeah.
research. And if, God willing, you know, anything can help. You know, then if it comes down to that, anything can help. But thank you very much, Dr. Mamoona, for
welcome.
being with us. It was lovely to be in conversation.
Most
And the
welcome.
best part is that today I've learned something different. And
Something
now
new,
I'm
yes.
going to go back
You will
home. I'll
learn,
do my
inshallah,
research.
more.
And what I'll do is that I'll come up with a few results too as well, which we're going to
Inshallah.
share on our Facebook fan page, which are with the name of,
Well, this morning.
on Twitter,
Well, this morning without a G.
on Dailymotion and YouTube.
Well, this morning.
This fabulous repeat is going to be at
5 past 11 in the night.
till the next time.
Good
1, 2, 3.
morning.
Good morning.